Using data weave operators. We're used to operators from a lot of different languages we've used in the past, things like add or concatenate, minus, multiply, divide, and also using conditional logic operators. Some of these being, in the case of data weave, default, when, unless, otherwise, and even expressions that we can use things like equal to, not equal to, and a special type of equal regardless of type. Some examples of this on the left here on our second column, or second row rather, we can see the object of MaxMule. And inside of here, if we say payload.nickname, default payload.firstname, we can have max, the first name, being the default if it can't find a nickname. Now, underneath that, we can see on the input in this last row that there is a nickname that's blank. We can say when payload.nickname does not equal blank, otherwise payload.firstname. So in this case, since it is blank, it can use payload.firstname effectively as that otherwise option. We have a lot of additional operators, again, things you should definitely check out in the documentation. Really powerful abilities to flatten arrays, do order bys, concatenations, distinct by, group by, replace, matches, regex, and many, many more. So let's get into walkthrough 10.6 where we'll play around with some of these operators ourselves. We'll replace data values using pattern matching. We will order data, remove duplicate data, and finally filter data. Back in AnyPoint Studio, we'll make sure we have transform message selected in our post multiple flights flow. Now, one big thing is we have this spelling error in our backend system. And while it's probably ideal to change the issue there, let's assume we can't and try to transform it inside of our data weave expression. Well, pretty easy to do. All we need to do is go to where we have our upper plane type, and we can run the replace operator here. So we will say replace, and then inside of forward slashes, we'll put in Boeing, and we'll say that we want to replace it with the correct spelling, which is Boeing. So now you can see how it's able to take, using this matching pattern, just the word Boeing and change it to Boeing inside of here, but still respect the output value of 737 that was part of that as well. All right, now that that's spelled correctly, let's look at the flight prices, and we can see that they're clearly not ordered by price. We've got 400, 199, 283. Let's see if we can do a little bit of ordering. So at the very end of our structure here, what we can go ahead and do is put in a order by, and with the order by in place, we can do $dot and say that we want to order this by the price value. So with the price value being the order, we can now scroll through and see how easy that was to sort this array of objects based on the price field. Now, if we look at the PDX flights inside of here, you'll notice that these are the same price. So let's say we want a secondary sorting criteria wherein we sort these by date. All right, to set this up, let's go ahead and do another order by at the beginning. And this order by will be based on the date value. Now with date in place, you can see here how we've got 199, 283, 283, 283, and so on, but you can see how October 21st is now dropped to the bottom here. So the main array itself is going to be organized by price, but then inside of that, if we do have two that are the same, they will be ordered by date. Another thing we might wish to do is be sure that we can remove any duplicate data. So we can see these two October 20th flights with the exact same price. Let's assume they're duplicates. Well, another operator that can be helpful for us is at the very end of this structure we're building. We could also say distinct by, and we could specify a key, but in this case we could say the whole value. So with that in place, we can see that we now only have one October 20th flight to PDX, because if the value bodies are exactly the same, we're now only going to use distinct ones when printing out our final data structure. All right. Now let's add a seat field that is equal to the empty seats field and coerce it to a number. Inside of here, at the very end, after our date formatter, do another comma, and at the end, we'll say seats, and seats will once again be empty seats, and specifically, we will put it as number so that we can ensure we have an integer being printed out for the quantity of seats that we have. Now let's say hypothetically we're interested in using a filter. Specifically, we really aren't interested in giving our customers lists of flights that don't have any available seats. So if those seats are 0, let's be sure to filter them out. So in order to do this, we can go to the very end here where we've got our order by being set up. And in this case, I'll even drop down and indent in so I'm inside of order by. And I will specify a filter inside of here where we say that the seats value that we have inside does not equal 0. So create this whole structure, sort it as needed, and filter out any seats that are 0. As we scroll through here, we can see our list of flights has dwindled even more. Now we've only got flights that are not duplicates, and on top of that, we are only listing flights that have available seats for our customers to purchase.